Welcome to episode 303 of the Working Fans Podcast, where we're doing something a little different this week. There's an event in Griswold, if you're watching this live, tonight, Veterans Memorial Park. Outkast Wrestling Revolution brings their show to WrestleTopia. It's going to be a great time. And the reason I'm hyping them so much is the man called Dave and myself last weekend made our way out to Ledyard Middle School for the Outkast Wrestling Revolution Flowers Given show. And I cannot say enough good about this company. It was a great show. They had Richard Holliday on it. They had Kylon King on it. They had Danny Orion. They were very hospitable to us. They let us get interviews at this show. So myself, the man called Dave, along with help from Phil and Sean from the Griswold Youth Center, we were able to corral some of the wrestlers from the show. And going in, Dave and I thought if we get 2-3 interviews, we'll be happy. But we got way more than that. And we are going to bring them to you today. So please, as always, if you enjoy what you see, please hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button. And let me take you to the first of our interviews here. I talked to Sean and Phil from the Youth Center about the event happening tonight, WrestleTopia, and working with Outkast Wrestling Revolution. And then after we hear from Phil and Sean, we are going to hear from Aren Norman and Rudy Jordan, sorry. We are going to hear from Aren Norman and Rudy Jordan. So please enjoy these interviews, and I'll come back and present our next one.
So we got a couple special guests today. We got Sean and Phil. Guys, we got a big wrestling event with Outkast Wrestling. Next week, WrestleTopia coming to Griswold, Connecticut. Right now, we're at Flowers Given in Ledyard Middle School. Backstage. You're going to see some people coming in and out. That's all right. I'll start off with you, Sean. Why don't you tell us about this event next week at Griswold?
So next week, we came up with it a little while ago. I talked to Ryan. I've been talking to Cindy, one of the owners, with Lou as well, about doing an event. They wanted to partner with Griswold, get an event going. So we actually came up with the first ever, WrestleTopia is what we're calling it.
Yep.
We always put a topia on the end of things. So it's got to be WrestleTopia, but it's going to be more than that, you know. So we're going to have inflatables. We're going to have a foam party for kids. But the idea came when Cindy and I talked about it. We were talking about she wants to help the town of Griswold. She wants to be partnered with us. And she really wanted to she was right when we called her, she said yes immediately. It wasn't like a second thought. It wasn't any of that. It was, yes, let's do it right away. And one of my friends who wrestles for this company got me hooked up with it. So it was a lot of it came around for Friday, and it's come out perfectly. I just want everybody, come out. It's a free show to have fun and just enjoy it,
Yeah, free show. Can't beat it. It's going to be other stuff going on. We got like a foam party, right?
Yeah.
Phil, go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, we'll have a foam party. It's going to be at the park, Veterans Memorial Park in Griswold, which is always a great spot just to, bring your family and have a good time and stuff like that. Great, beautiful waterfall, great view, and lots of awesome wrestling. Each year we always have a few people in the town, a few residents, and a few people from surrounding areas that'll ask too. Like to ask, is wrestling coming back to Griswold? And well, we're happy to say that this year it is.
Yeah, that's awesome. We've been asking every year, so that makes sense. What has been your impression of working, not obviously working, but just seeing an Outkast wrestling event like tonight? Sean, you've been to other ones too.
It's been honestly a great experience. They're local, which is always great. You don't have to travel. We don't have to travel too far to watch. We're right in Ledyard right now, 20-30 minutes for all of us, because we all live in, Jewish City, Griswold.
Right.
But it's also great because you have the community that's out there right now is fantastic. I mean, they were all here early. We saw them coming in, but every show there's been like great names, and there's been great action too. They don't drag it out. They nice matches, great, quick, get to the point of the match, and it always action packed. We know, as we all know, as wrestling fans, all of us, there's a lot of them where if their match is dragged out, you're getting bored of it. This one they're right to the point. It's always an interesting, especially with the storylines as well that they're doing.
Everything seems fast-paced. Phil, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I mean, as a wrestling fan, it's been great, and as someone who's been able to kind of chat with some of the people backstage and things like that, it seems like this is a great company, great promotion, and we're really looking forward to next Friday at Veterans Memorial Park.
What can you tell us about the youth center in Griswold and Toot City and what it means to the area?
Yeah, so the youth center it's a free program that's run by the town of Griswold's Youth and Family Services Department, and serves kids who go to who are ages 9 to 13, but really we have a couple kids who are 14, 15 who will come back once they go to high school and things like that. We've had a lot of kids that start volunteering with us afterwards and start working with us. And really what it is it gives kids something to do after school. It gives them something to do that's not the streets. It gives them something to do where if they're new to the area, they can make new friends and things like that. So it's just a great opportunity for kids that want to, be kids, basically have fun and stuff like that. One of the reasons why we at the Youth Center and Parks and Rec and Youth and Family Services as a whole are really excited to be working with groups like Outkast is that we get the opportunity to consistently serve different demographics in our town. So we know that there's kids who are into basketball. We have basketball programs. We know that there's kids who are into video games. We do video games at the Youth Center. We also have a lot of kids who are into wrestling and play wrestling games at the Youth Center. So they're going to be really, really excited for WrestleTopia this upcoming Friday.
Yeah, I got like 3 kids to go to the youth center. So anyway, it's going to be a great event. It's for a great cause. It's support the youth wrestling, support Griswold.
I just want to thank Cindy and Lou. We haven't said enough about them, but they were very generous to us today, letting us be a sponsor for this event.
Yeah.
Reading it off, reading Griswold Parks and Rec, getting the name out there. They'll read off, the show coming up. But I just want to say, they wanted to work with us, Griswold. And that meant a lot to me, Phil, all the guys, Ryan. So I just wanted to thank them once again. We actually just saw Lou wrestle, which was very interesting.
Yeah.
So, but I just wanted to thank those two.
All right, guys. Thanks for being on. And guys, check out the event. And we're going to have some more interviews with wrestlers at Flowers Given. So hold on tight.
Dave, before the wrestlers come in, I just want to say, how wild is it we're getting to work another wrestling show? We don't get out to these very often.
No.
So it's awesome to be partnering with Outkast Wrestling Revolution. It's great to be partnering with Griswold Rec Center because, we all came up in the town of Griswold.
Yes.
We all enjoy wrestling. So being able to mix these things in helps. The first half of the show was great. I can't wait to see what the second half is.
Yeah, we had 3 matches so far. They flew by. Everything felt very fast-paced. Everything looked good. And it's about as good as any independent wrestling show out there, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. It's great to see the interaction they have with the crowd. The crowd not familiar with a lot of these wrestlers, and they're getting into the show.
And that's right. We're live. We're going to have...
We got somebody coming in. We'll edit this out.
We got one coming after this next match. His kids are wrestling, so he wants to watch them. And then he's going to come back.
They're calling talent to go back.
But he said he'll be back. Yeah, they'll come back out. Yeah.
All right, everybody. It's Dave from the Working Fans podcast here at the Outkast Revolution Flowers Given event. And I'm here with Aren and Rudy. You guys have been wrestling at the event tonight. I'll start with you, Rudy. How is the match? How did everything go out there?
It would have went better if I won.
Yeah.
But, wasn't bad.
Yeah.
She's tough.
She was tough. Yeah.
Very tough.
Yeah.
I see why her name is Killer J.
Yeah.
I'm still better.
Rudy, how long have you been wrestling now?
I started training in 2014.
2014-ish.
And then I just came back after taking 5 years off.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
too long.
All right. And Aaron, how long have you been wrestling?
I started in 2015, beginning of 2015. I also took a little bit of time off, not as much as her. I stopped basically about 2 years, but one of them was COVID, so I didn't really miss much.
Right.
And then I came back in beginning of 2022. So 10 years roughly is what I go. Technically, my first match anniversary was May 31st, 2015. So 10 years since my first match.
Okay. And Rudy, what got you into professional wrestling? What were your fandom?
I kind of had a friend that I met, and she really loved wrestling. Her name is Maddie.
Yeah.
And she was just like, you should watch wrestling. And I'm like, I don't know. I really don't want to. And she was like, come on, it'll be fine. So I said, okay. So then I watched, I think it was SmackDown or something. And I was like, oh, cool. I don't know who this guy is, but he seems really cool. And then I watched Raw and I was like, wait, there's 2 of them? What is happening? And then my own little legacy is the fact that I did not know how to say Drew McIntyre's name. So he is forever cemented as Drew McIntyre.
McIntyre. There you go.
So that is just a little bit of how I got into it. And then I went to college and knew someone, her name's Tracy, and she kind of introduced me to the right people in the right school to go and start.
Yeah.
So.
And what school did you break into?
The Rockstar Pro Wrestling School in Dayton, Ohio.
And Aren, same question. What was your kind of fandom into wrestling?
So I watched wrestling as a kid with my dad. One of like the big moments I remember when I was younger is like the Hell in the Cell, Mankind, Undertaker.
Oh, yeah.
The big one. I watched for quite a while until probably about 2007 or 8. I got into amateur wrestling. And as a kid in amateur wrestling, I'm doing the real wrestling. We hate professional wrestling. So I kind of just fell out of it for a little bit. When I went to college, I started kind of getting back into watching it. And then I stopped doing amateur wrestling, just where I was in life. I just didn't want to do it anymore. And I started getting a little fat. Do school going to college, and I found at the time the Central Ohio Pro Wrestling Academy. They're now just called the Ohio Pro Wrestling Academy, ran by James Avery. And my original idea was, okay, I'll go here, learn some basics, and then once I've finished school, I'll go down to A.R. Fox's school. When you get into wrestling, you realize you don't have to do that. Just because you don't know the name James Avery doesn't mean he doesn't know what he's doing. He's an amazing trainer, has done a lot of great things. Trained with him in 2015, and then I really like training. So I've trained, I think, at 12 different schools at this point now. I also consistently do training at Skull and Bones in Toledo, Ohio with Crimson and Trey Miguel.
Okay.
So I run one of their classes up there. So I do that consistently. I still go to my original school. I've done some stuff Mega in Elyria, Ohio, which is right near Cleveland. I've done some stuff with Sammy Callahan's Pile Driver a little bit. I also met her at Rockstar. I've trained there for about a year and a half, 2 years. I just really like wrestling.
Yeah. No, that's great. I mean, just going to all these different, it almost sounds like the grind of like a comedian going to different clubs and trying to learn different things. Rudy, one thing I want to ask you too, I love your gear. Like, I love this. Like, how to design this? What inspired this here?
A wrestler by the name of Amazing Maria, who I like to call my wrestling mom, gave it to me.
Oh, okay.
Because she's just everybody's wrestling. She gave it to me, and it's probably my favorite just gear or piece of gear that I have.
Okay.
So.
Not to be a downer also, but she does have some other gear, but we had an apartment fire in January and we lost like 80% of our stuff. So this was like the only gear she has left, but thankfully it's one that she really likes.
It's it caught my attention. Yeah.
The same reason I have some of my gear was actually because I was lazy and didn't wash my gear immediately. So it was in my car when the fire happened, thankfully. So I still had some of my stuff.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, so when was the fire?
So we lived in an apartment building, and someone on the first floor had a candle that caught on some curtains. And by the time anyone got there to stop it, like, thankfully nobody was hurt. Yeah. Everyone got out on all 3 floors. It was awful because I was in shorts and it was -4 out. But everyone got out. Everyone was safe. Thankfully, that's the most important part. I think out of everyone, all the animals except for one cat, sadly, didn't make it, but everyone else made it. The reason we lost pretty much everything was they got it out and then the fire reignited after they got out in our apartment. So any chance we had, then they had to drill like the hole to get the smoke out from like the first floor all the way up, and they did it in our apartment. So our floor and ceiling had holes in them.
Well, I guess so. My next question was going to be, what have been some of the biggest obstacles in pro wrestling? Obviously, besides the fire, I guess.
So for me, it was that. And then in 2023, I tore my ACL and had an ACL reconstruction surgery, which was crazy because even in amateur, like 10 plus years of amateur wrestling, then this, I never really had a major injury. I've never been out more than a week. So going from never being out more than a week to my doctor telling me, yes, once you have surgery, you're not allowed back for 9 months. He said the minimum is 9 months. I came back a little sooner, but he was like, science studies show that if you come back before 9 months, you have a very high chance, even if everything's perfect, you have a very high chance of re-tearing it. So,
okay, wow.
That was my biggest one.
And any major injuries, or have you been lucky so far to avoid?
I've been very lucky.
Well, guys, we're Outkast Revolution tonight. We're promoting a big event coming in Griswold next week. Griswold Outkast Wrestling. So what is it like working with Outkast Wrestling Revolution?
For me, it's been absolutely wonderful. So I'm originally from Connecticut. I grew up in Connecticut. I went to Bacon Academy, not too far from here. So I'm billed from Colchester. I wasn't born there, but I lived from 6th grade through high school in Colchester. I went to Ohio for amateur wrestling. I had a scholarship in amateur wrestling, and we wound up staying out there because as much as I love Connecticut, it's very expensive here.
Yes.
Ohio is a much better cost of living state.
Sure.
So my parents wound up moving out there, and we all kind of live out there now. So I'm trying to kind of break into the New England market because I want to come back and visit friends, family, visit people more. And Outkast was one of the first ones to see my little bit of a story and be like, we're going to give you a shot. We don't super know you, but we're going to give you a shot. Come out here, do your stuff. And if all things go well, maybe we'll be able to introduce you to more people, leads to more stuff. But they've been very welcoming, very kind. Everything from management up has been absolutely awesome. The fans were great tonight. I had a great time.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
You know, besides losing, but that was a nasty lariat.
And Rudy, you had a few choice words with some fans too. I saw out there.
Yeah. That one little kid.
I saw you going to town on that kid. What did that kid say besides calling you short?
He said a lot of things, and mostly just that I'm short, and I don't like to be reminded. I'm real big and tough. I'm over 5 foot. I'm not that
you
short.
You are 4'13".
I am not 4'13". I'm 5'1.5". Thank you very much.
Well, one final question. All right, Rudy, I'll start with you. Best advice you've ever gotten in pro wrestling?
The best advice I've ever gotten in pro wrestling was stop being a little bitch. You're here like the rest of us. You want to do this? Show it.
God.
Thank you, Mickey Knuckles.
There you go.
Man, that's a tough question. I think a lot of mine is just like believe in yourself. Kind of a nicer version of what she said is so like especially now like this year I went to Vietnam to wrestle, which is crazy.
Wow.
I'm going to Japan in August. I've wrestled in Canada a few times. I've a lot of people on TV now I've wrestled with and I'm friends with. And a lot of them are just like, man, you're good. You just got to believe you're good and like go out there and shine. Cause sometimes I don't do that. I'm more worried about making everything else good than myself. So,
so sometimes you have to be a little selfish once in a while.
Yes, that's as silly as it is to say, that is one of the best advice I got is just be a little more selfish sometimes.
Right. Yeah, no, that makes sense. And guys, either one, I'll start with you, Rudy. Social media, anything you'd like to tell people where they can find you?
I don't really have anything just yet, just my personal stuff. I was mostly just trying to see if I wanted to keep wrestling.
Yeah.
So just taking a few matches here and there.
She literally, when she said she took those 5 years off, she stopped the same time as me, but she just came back the beginning of this year. She's been training with me up at Skull and Bones. And this was probably your 7th match back.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
well, I mean, I will say as fans, I thought you shined tonight. You were great.
Well, thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
You don't have any really social media right now, but
No, I mean, it was just me trying to figure out if I wanted to keep doing it.
But if you want to follow her and she does keep doing it, you can follow me.
Yes.
Aren Norman, ArenNorman. I'm pretty much every social media I have. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, X, whatever. I stream on Twitch. I do a podcast once a week on that channel, and then I've been dabbling back into getting streaming on that. I believe I have a Blue Sky. I have what's the one that auto posts from Instagram sometimes? Threads.
Yeah.
I don't fully use all of them, but I have all of them. So and every single one is Aren Norman, ArenNorman.
He's a better one here.
No, I just know the importance of branding and making everything uniform.
All right. Well, as we know, check them out at Outkast Wrestling Revolution too. You guys are working with them right now. And hey, from the Working Fans Podcast, thank you for coming on, and we appreciate you. Wish you the best of luck.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. Awesome. We don't.
All right. Well, you saw there was Aren Norman and Rudy Jordan. Aren was in the opening match, had a really good match with Kaide Lothbrok, who's the next one we're going to bring in. I'm rolling with some technical difficulties here since I'm trying to present all the interviews we did. If you want to see any of these interviews in their own, like on their own, check our YouTube channel. They will all be posted separately. And I love, for anybody that knows how much I enjoy Dave mispronouncing things sometimes, the amount of times that we messed up the name Outkast Wrestling Revolution during these interviews is great. But Aren Norman, great in the opening match. Rudy was in the following match against Killer J. It was an excellent match. But let's go to Aren's opponent in that first match, Kaide Lothbrok. We'll hear from him right now.
From the Working Fans Podcast, we are here with Outkast Revolution tonight for Flowers Given, and I have with me, as Guardian Beast, Kaide Lothbrok, excuse me, don't beat me up. Pleasure to have you on, man. And I guess we're going to start off right away with what got you into wrestling?
I think like everybody else, man, I grew up a fan, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't remember when it came into my life. I just remember it's always been part of my life. Like anyone else, you know?
Yeah. And then where did you start training?
I trained at NYWC under ECW legend Mikey Whipwreck.
Nice.
Got that pedigree with me. And then I trained with another guy at the school named Crusher Dugan, who was trained by Dean Malenko and Malenko's father, Boris Malenko, and his brother, Joe. So I've been fortunate to have some pretty good trainers.
That is some great pedigrees. You know, we've had guests on the show before like Bob Cook and Barry Horowitz, and all those guys trained under the Malenkos.
Yeah. So he went down to Florida, and then I was fortunate to do a couple clinics and one-on-ones with Dean himself. So I've been fortunate when I started 20 years ago to have, you know, some really good people in my corner to help me out and grow and stuff.
Now, 20 years in the business, what would you say were some of the bigger obstacles for you?
When I started, I mean, I was always an amateur wrestler and stuff like that, so learning those ropes. But the biggest obstacle for me, I don't really have a filter. I don't really think before I speak, and I'm very stubborn and pig-headed. So learning to kind of bite my tongue at times, and also actually the biggest hurdle for me was dropping weight and actually getting in shape. When I started, I was probably around what I am now, which is like 250. I blew up the clothes. I was probably pushing like 5. I definitely hit a good part of my career and a lot of health issues. But honestly, if I just probably got in the gym when I was younger, as I should have been, and not being a typical 20-year-old thinking I knew everything, maybe I'd be in a different place. But, you know, it's all happened for a reason.
I will say this as a fan watching you wrestle earlier, one thing, and I know you said you trained with the Malenkos, footwork, you know, seems like you had good footwork out there. Has that always been something?
I mean, that's Mikey really instilled that in us in the beginning.
Okay.
I mean, like that was when I came up, it's a lot different now. I mean, and then I always heard that when guys were older than me were like, it's so different when they were coming up.
Right.
I didn't get to touch a ring for about 3.5 months. It was just stuff on the floor, footwork, basic chain. And then it was a privilege to get in the ring and to touch the ring. It was very much still that, I wouldn't say kayfabe era, but it was like everyone knew what it was, but there was still much of that back then. I came up at a time where like if you got beat up, it wasn't because they were bullying you. It was because basically they wanted people to stick around, but they wanted to make sure the people that did stick around had a love and appreciation of this business and what it means. Now it's different. We live in a different time. It's a different era. You can't do some of the things we did back then, even though maybe some of those things, in my opinion, might be a little bit good because, again, this isn't ballet. You know, you're putting yourself and someone else at risk. So you got to understand the risks.
Importance. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. One thing I'm curious about too, with, you know, such a pedigree in that, you know, training, Riplex, you know, the Malenkos, what have been some of your, you know, favorite moments in pro wrestling? Almost like in the beginning, that could be some of your favorite moments.
I mean, my second match was teaming with Mikey.
Yeah.
Which literally I had my first match and I won my first match against another student. And that match came about because we were just messing around in the ring and we did a spot and Mikey watched it and he was like, do it again. And we did it again. And he's like, now you're going to do it on the show in 2 weeks. And we were like, what? And then we wrestled and we had I'm assuming the match probably sucked because it's, you know, your first match. And then he came up to us and he's like, you guys have fun? We're like, of course. He's like, all right, good. You're going to do it next month, but I'm teaming with you and you're teaming with him. And we are, you know, our drawers are on the floor. I've been fortunate. You know, I've gotten to wrestle a lot of people that I looked up to or idolized or share locker rooms with them. And it's always a hard question. People are like, you know, what's a one moment or this? It's so hard because I've been so lucky. Like when I started traveling outside of my home promotion, Eddie Kingston took me under his wing and I got to ride with Eddie and learn from Eddie. Homicide helped me, Danny Moff. Like I've been fortunate to have guys that took some, you know, fat, chubby kid from Long Island and really give him a lesson in wrestling. So, you know, I've worked Eddie Kingston numerous times. I mean, Tommy Dreamer's taken me under his wing. I've gotten to do stuff for AEW. I've gotten to go to Mexico and Trinidad. And it's so hard. I've just been I'm just having fun. It's hard to pick one.
Yeah.
Anytime I've gotten to work Mikey, it's always been fun. That's like, that's my wrestle dad. So.
Now, I guess one question we like to ask, and it's going to be hard to pinpoint just down to one thing too, is, what's the best advice you've gotten in pro wrestling? It's probably been a bunch.
Honestly, it was the very first thing Mikey said to all of us was keep your mouth shut and keep your ears and eyes open. That was it. Just
simple.
Learn, observe, absorb, but know your place and know, and it's helped me throughout my career going into I've done a lot of deathmatch wrestling, and you watch and you learn, and then you're like, okay, now I know where I can pick and choose to say stuff and stuff like that.
It almost sounds like a great life lesson in general too.
Yeah, it's anything. I didn't have the best childhood coming up, so I really did grow up in wrestling. I started when I was 17, but having Mikey and those guys kind of like my father figures and brothers, it really the best environment at times, yeah. But it did help me grow up, and a lot of the things that I learned in wrestling, I do apply to my life and my son now. So
awesome. And we're here, like I said, with Outkast Wrestling Revolution tonight. What's it like working for them?
I actually knew Cindy before she started in the business. She was, I guess, a fan of mine. She came and saw a bunch of death matches that I'd done and just hit me up on Facebook. We just started talking, and then I did a show in Connecticut as a surprise for her. The promoter booked me, and it was I guess it was like a birthday surprise for her. And then, just being friends, and she told me she was running. I told her, don't do it. And so anytime she needs me, she knows I'm here for her. But it's fun. I'm glad. I mean, I was at I guess when they were originally doing it at the small bar, a very tiny ring, and then to see their first show that they did at some other spot. I think it's in Gales Ferry, but it's in another area. See what they're doing now. I mean, it's just slowly growing. So I'm very happy for both her and me.
That's awesome. 20 years. So I guess what are your goals right now?
Yeah, I'm fortunate. I actually was talking to one of the guys today. I don't really have goals anymore. I'm just having fun.
Right.
I'm married for 3 years. I have my own business. I have a little bit of money in a gym. I'm just enjoying wrestling. And like I told him, I said, when I kind of stopped, which is about 5 years ago, I need to make it. I got to do extra work for AEW and TNA, and a bunch of things just kind of happened. But I'm just having fun. I mean, I have guys I want to wrestle. Trevor Murdoch's at the top of my list.
Yeah.
But I'm just having fun. I just enjoy this. If I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be talking. I'd be sitting at home with my dogs and my wife and my kids. So
yeah. Well, hey, do you have any questions before I asked her?
Maybe just how is it the balance between wrestling and you said you own a business?
Yeah.
So how is it balancing business and wrestling?
I'm fortunate because I get to pick and choose my hours and stuff. I work. I own a pest control and wildlife control company. Nice. So we're stationed at Long Island, but I personally work at our veterans hospital that we have the contract with. So I'm kind of free to Monday to Friday, but it's also good because, I do leave on a Friday and I won't come home until a Monday morning. So I can kind of make my own schedule. So that freedom is great. And, it's nice because then I can go away and cut myself up and bleed. And I don't need to come into work tomorrow when somebody's looking at me going what is that? Because for the longest time I was traveling doing death matches, and I would go into work or whatever I was doing, cuts and scrapes, and people, my boss or my manager would be like, what happened? And, you have to make up some excuse I was helping my buddy build a shed and I fell, or nobody believes it. They look at you like you're a psycho. So now I don't have to answer. I just have to answer to the wife. So that's about it. So I'm good on that.
Kaide, is there anything else you want to promote coming up or anything? Social media?
Yeah, next week, next Sunday, I'm in Jersey for a company called American Championship Entertainment. And the 28th, I'm in Binghamton for Excite Wrestling. And then the 29th, we're doing a show for one of my trainers who passed away 5 years ago, which is a huge show to me. It's my first time doing it. And then social media is Kaide Lothbrok on Instagram and Kaide Lothbrok on YouTube. I don't have a Facebook or Twitter or I'm old, so I'd have MySpace if it was still around.
I love it. No nonsense guy.
Exactly. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much, guys.
All right.
That was a great interview with Kaide. Kaide even passed a couple guys onto us. He sent over Robbie Rebel and the Black Sheep. And we have to apologize to these guys because he said he was sending them over. We waited for a couple minutes, and then we went back out to watch the show. And as Dave and I were sitting there, we were thinking, wait, he said he was sending somebody over, right? And we thought we saw some guys behind the doors. So we went back. The Black Sheep was still recovering from his match. Robbie Rebel was there as well, and they couldn't have been nicer about it. This is by far the longest of our interviews, but it's very interesting because you're going to get to hear what the Black Sheep did before he got to wrestling. you get to hear Robbie Rebel's story. And these guys, I can't say enough about Outkast Wrestling Revolution and how great Cindy and Lou were, the whole crew, the wrestlers as well. So enough of my talking, enough of my explaining our technical difficulties that I'm going to hope to edit out of this episode. But here is Robbie Rebel and the Black Sheep.
Fans podcast. We are here at Outkast Wrestling Revolution, Flowers Given, and I'm with the Black Sheep, Robbie Rebel, and it is Black Rebel Society.
How you doing, man? Thank you for having us.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for being here. We appreciate you guys being on here. You look a little
beat up, not gonna lie.
That post a little hard.
Yeah.
It knocked my
Was
teeth
not
out.
expecting that.
How long have you been doing this?
You could
So,
start.
ironically, so I've known this dude forever. Like, came up in the business. My training started with him. This is the first time we've tagged together, and like I couldn't be happier. I've been waiting for this day. 14 years.
At least, yeah.
14 years.
I mean, granted, I could have avoided that ring post, but I'll take it.
Me personally, I've been wrestling since I was 16 years old. I got trained in a bunch of different places. The most notable place that I got trained at was, at the time, it was called WWA 4 with Mr. Hughes. So if people like heard the names Kiara Hogan, Jonathan Gresham, Odinson from NWA, they were all in the same class as me. So I learned a lot from Mr. Hughes. Mr. Hughes is one of the best people I've ever learned how to wrestle from.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Would not have known that necessarily from watching him back in the day. He looked like
the man is so smart. When you think that you know a lot of things, he'll break it down and say, you did this wrong, you did that wrong. And I thought I knew how to wrestle because I got trained for a while.
Right.
And when he brought me up to that school, like, it was a totally different ballgame.
That's
totally different.
Yeah. What were you two like what were your fandoms like before you even got in training? Who got you into pro wrestling? What were wrestlers you liked?
Okay, so my story is a little it's depressing to begin with. Okay. So when I was 2 years old, my father passed away, and I don't know how you guys censor things, so I'm gonna say he unalived himself.
Okay.
And when I was watching TV at like 5 or 6 years old, the first person that really got my interest was The Undertaker. The second I heard the Death March on that is when I literally could feel something that wasn't completely numb when I was 5 years old, because I don't remember a lot of what was happening. I was going through a lot of trauma. So when I first saw The Undertaker, I was like, this is someone who understands me. And I didn't know at the time, but this is someone who understands me. This is how I feel all the time. I wasn't a kid that was afraid of him. I embraced the whole dark side thing. So that's what really got me into it. But then I ended up being like a Bret and Shawn fan.
Yeah.
I still love The Undertaker, obviously.
Yeah.
But
That's we were talking about that before the show started with the people. And like for me personally, I got out of wrestling for a little bit. Bret and Shawn were those guys that got me back in. Just that style. Yeah.
There is both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. You can be a Bret and Shawn guy.
You know what? You want to use the wrestling? Watch Bret Hart. You want some flair? That's when you watch Shawn. And if you take the combination of both, where it's not obvious, you could really pull off some great stuff.
I love it. So what about for you, fandom?
So I'm old school.
Yeah.
So I got to give you a little tidbit here. I'm 52 years old.
Okay, we're good.
Wrestling was
49. We're going to be close.
Was my midlife crisis because I didn't step in a ring till I was 40.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I've been a touring musician my whole life. So I started with a band back in 1994. When were you born?
1990.
So yeah, right after he was born, I was already on tour.
Oh, wow.
So I have to laugh about that. But like my mom, my grandfather, like I have a tattoo here. It's got my grandparents on it, my uncles on it. They raised me on wrestling, but you're talking NWA, Florida Championship Wrestling, the Four Horsemen,
Memphis,
all of it.
Yeah.
Like Jerry Lawler, like my mom's favorite was Bruno Sammartino. Up in that era, watching Bob Backlund take the belt, watching the Sheik take the belt, watching Hogan take the belt. And then for a long time, I dropped out of it because I concentrated on my music. And then, like, no joke, DX brought me back in because I'm like, that's me. Like, I've always been that guy, which is how I got the moniker, the Black Sheep. Like, it's tattooed on my shoulder.
Right,
like,
right.
That's the thing. It's not really a gimmick. It's more of a lifestyle. Because I've been that dude. I'm a reform school baby. Like, I'm the middle child, so mom's got the gray hair since I was like 15.
Typical wrestlers. We've all had royally bad problems.
But yeah, like DX is what brought me back into it. Because, you know, and again, of course, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Like, but just the stuff they were doing, the comedic aspect of it, and the wrestling and the just don't care attitude.
Edginess.
Like, I don't know if you noticed the back patch on my jacket says Dilligav. I'm not going to say what. No.
Yeah.
And I'm from that generation. Find out. You know what I mean? So we'll leave it at that. I'm going to censor that.
I love it.
But,
Now, go ahead.
That's where it all started. But music is what brought me into the ring, though, because some of the indie guys were using my music as their entrance themes. And then one day I'm literally sitting at a show in Long Island in the crowd, and I get slapped across the face so hard I couldn't taste anything for the rest of the show. And I was just like, never expected, but I mean, I was mouthing off to them. And then at that point, they were like, "You're a big dude. Why don't you get in the ring and train with us?" And I was like, a childhood dream, done, sold. What do I need to do?
All right.
And that was how I actually got my start.
Now, you started off at 40. So this is a question for both of you, but I'm curious. Any big injuries?
Yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, bicep repair because the tendon came off. Rotator cuff's been shaved in 2012. 2 weeks before lockdowns. 2 pins in this shoulder because a torn labrum and a bicep, and then my right ankle's all steel because I broke it doing a baseball slide.
That was my
Caught the ring apron, clean break. Yet I still tried to get up and finish the friggin' match.
I told you to stay down.
At 378 pounds, too. So when I started wrestling, I was 460. And then over the years, I've trimmed down. And then I had gastric sleeve surgery to lose that last 100 pounds. And then I bulked back up, so I'm 248 right now. But whole different lifestyle. Wrestling legit saved me when it came to that.
When I was younger, I had a match out in New Jersey. I don't remember the guy's name. I don't think he wrestles anymore. But I was very what we call green.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yo, what type of moves do you do?" And he's like, "Well, my big move is a drop kick in the corner as long as you sit like Bronco Buster style." So I was just like, "Oh, okay, yeah." I'm sitting in the corner. The guy comes charging at me, right? And when he's charging, I'm like, he's not slowing down. So he comes in and he gives me a drop kick and poof, knocks my teeth out.
Oh, man.
So missing teeth. I had a couple concussions. Nothing major or anything like that. I'm not as broken as this man, but and I'm trying to keep it that way too.
I hit the gym, like no joke. My part-time job is in a gym just so I have a free membership to stay in one piece.
I like it. What have been some of your favorite moments in pro wrestling so far, I guess?
I'm going to go with the biggest things that I love is the stories that you have, traveling, the things that happen throughout the night. I mean, I have it's a long story, but I've had a moment where me and a couple other guys went to an adult entertainment club. And the whole night was just, it was chaotic. I mean, chaotic. I'm not going.
Did it involve cheeseburgers? Because I think I've been to the same club with the same people at a different time.
Vinny the Guido.
Of course. There you go.
But it's always the travel stories for me.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I got to wrestle in front of like 3,000 people in Las Vegas once, and that was amazing and fantastic. And you live up to all the hype with it, and the adrenaline rush is crazy. But it's always the people that you meet, the backgrounds that you see, and it. Even though there's a lot of backstabbing, a lot of drama, there's a brotherhood within this too, and the brotherhood is what really keeps me and keep going. And I'm pretty sure that's what keeps him going too.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the stories that you have with everything. A show lasts maybe 2 hours, but you still have a 4-hour drive. Right. You're in the car and all that stuff. It's the travel stories is the
like tonight,
biggest thing.
4 hours back to Long Island, and then Monday I've got 12 hours back to Myrtle Beach.
Wow.
Yeah, he's going to be in the car for a long time.
And then I'm flying back up in 2 weeks for another show. So I got to give a shout out though, like Kaide Lothbrok.
Yeah.
I was the best man at his wedding. He was in my wedding.
He'll be in my wedding.
Yeah.
Like my wife is going to be in his wedding. Like like you said, the brotherhood. So I met my wife because of wrestling. So she started out as a photographer, and then she wanted to get in the ring and train. And like running joke is we beat the crap out of each other for a couple of months and got married. But legit, I met my wife through pro wrestling.
They still beat the crap out of each other.
Well, that's the thing. So now I know my place in things.
Right.
I went from trainer to tackle dummy, you know. But yeah, like my best man, Bad Boy Rocky Shore, like he's worked all over the place. He's worked for dark matches for WWE, like, but he was my trainer originally, which is how I met him. And then he was the best man at my wedding. And you're talking all these years later, because I started 2012, I think it was.
At least, yeah, because
I got married. It's gonna be 3 years in September. He was my best man because we've kept that brotherhood. I was texting him on the way here.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, the brotherhood that we've created in this business, like, you can't replace that. Whether it's the heels, the faces, the bad guys, whatever. Like, all these years, I've made such an incredible dysfunctional family, but it's still family.
And you got to understand too that when you're in the ring with somebody, you know your life is on the line.
Right.
Something wrong could happen. A board has popped up and you land on it the wrong way. That's it. Game over. So there's a lot of trust that is involved with that.
Yeah, like these injuries I've had, I can't hold that against somebody because it's a risk we take getting in there. But
we just came in, started talking, taking over the show.
That's all right. That's all right.
It just comes with the territory. But the family, the brotherhood is insane.
You need us to just tell us to shut up. That's fine.
Shut me up.
One thing I was going to ask you guys, one thing we always like to ask, and you guys have had so many, times on the road and everything together. What is some of the best advice you've received in pro wrestling that maybe is related to life too?
Pre-prep your meals.
Oh God,
Pre-prep your meals.
7-Eleven has great protein bars and beef jerky.
Yeah.
Same with sheets.
What's the go-to protein bar?
Barbell. Absolutely.
Yeah, he
love
likes
those.
barbell.
Love the barbells.
I'm good with Quest.
The fatty
like
sticks
Quest.
beef jerky is my go-to. I got 2 in the back.
And also be prepared for everything to take longer than you expect, because nothing will go right.
That makes sense.
Nothing will go right.
Yeah. Adapt and move through it. Because if you let it get under your skin, you've got to have a very tough skin for this business. Take your critiques. Don't take them personal. Learn from them. Best advice I was ever given, though, when you're in the locker room, eyes and ears open, mouth shut. Thank everybody for opening that door for you. Do what you got to do, but mouth shut, absorb everything you possibly can.
Makes sense. That's what we heard as well. Now, so music, right? Would you say there's a similarity then between music and wrestling?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
all the entertainment
all
business
the chaos in the locker room is exactly how it is backstage. Green room, locker room, same thing.
Yeah. Because when you say this stuff, sometimes you realize keep your, eyes open, your mouth shut. It just sounds like great life advice. Like whatever job, you should probably do that. Yep. Humble yourself, be a sponge.
Sometimes you just have to adapt and move forward no matter what situation you're stuck in. Because I've been lucky, again, shamelessly self-promote myself, but I've done reality TV, I've done movies, I've done acting, I've done music, I've done wrestling. So I tell everybody, just learn as much as you can from whoever opened that door for you, because the veterans will be your best learning tool. Like, I don't care who they are, talk to them. If you get a chance, pick their brain if they're willing to do it.
I feel there's like a lot of lack of respect for veterans recently too, because the whole landscape has changed.
Right.
So when it comes to really picking their brains, they've been there, they've done that. Moves are the cherry on top. You know what I mean? You want to do these crazy moves, that's great. But when you want to talk about real psychology, they've been through it. Really pick their brain about the psychology. If you want to do, like a double backflip, corkscrew, whatever,
make sure it makes sense.
Make it make sense. That's a real big thing with that. Especially talking to veterans, sometimes they'll say it's too much, and then the crowd can't absorb that.
Right.
Yes. Always play to the crowd, because those are the guys that make it possible for us to do what we do. Like they pay good money to come see you. You make sure you give them what they pay. You give them their money's worth, and always take care of your crowd. And that goes either way. Good guy, bad guy. You still make sure you're here to entertain them, so they forget about life's problems. This is their safe haven to have fun and let go of things. Give them what they paid for, no matter what.
I will say, as a fan too, like watching wrestling throughout the years, I used to love those fast-paced shows and everything. But those aren't the ones you always stick with and you remember. You remember the angle. You remember the interview, the storyline. Like, that's what really hooks you and everything.
Less
like
is
that.
more.
In music, they told me when you're on stage, you don't want to go out there and just ego. I'm a rock star. They said you want to create a moment for your crowd so they go home and they go, wow, that dude blew me away. No different in there. You want to create that moment so they have that memory and be like, yo, remember that time we were at this match and this happened? That was crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. One other thing I'll ask you guys before we get to like promoting goals at this point in the game. What are some of your goals?
Well, for me, it's to get wherever I can. You know, I'm not setting a bar of expectation just because you don't want to, you know, fail for yourself and then be too hard. Just do whatever I can, see as many people as I can. I love the travel. Some people are not made for the travel. I love to travel. It can be a rough road, but I would like to just go as many places as I can, have many experiences as I can. And, you know, when I'm old and I talk to my grandkids, hopefully if I don't kill myself doing this, I don't censor that one. So, you know, if I want to have that experience and share it to my children, grandchildren.
That's good. Any goals for you at this point?
So at this point, like no joke, I said, I'm 52 years old and I've been a touring musician going on 30 years. So more than half my life has been spent on the road.
Right.
I'm on my second marriage. So like it's rough and it's a very lonely road. But with wrestling, it's all family camaraderie. Music, that's the difference between music and wrestling. Music touring, very lonely, even when you're with a band. Still, it's lonely. I do 26-hour drives by myself sometimes.
AKA, he just wants to get out of the house.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I love being on the road because I've spent so much time on the road. So my goal, I'm doing this, one, just to fulfill that dream. My grandfather, my uncle, my mom, like my mom's still with me, and I'm so thankful because I've gotten her to come out to experience things with me. Like I said, she met Bruno. Like I have a whole collage of pictures in my phone of my mom with more wrestlers than I've been with. Like Bob Backlund, joking one day, told me that I was going to be calling him daddy and started kissing my mom's cheek. Like I've got a video of her singing karaoke with Jimmy Hart.
You know what?
You were there.
You kind of do look like Ivan a
I
little bit.
So I'm doing this just because it's something I've always wanted to do, and like I'm still upright. You know what I mean?
And
music is my forte, but wrestling is again where I found the family.
Yeah.
So I don't really have a goal that I'm trying to reach. I'm just trying to go out, live my life, experience as much as I can. And I've been so blessed to work with so many guys I watched on TV. So like I really, if tomorrow was it, I could say my bucket list is almost done. So like I can't complain. Everything's been good.
I have to just go back to that for a second. With all due respect, too, I did say to him beforehand, I said, he's got kind of an Ivan Koloff look about him. So when you said that, I was like,
I tease my mom about it all the time. I'm like, if I got to call him daddy, I'm like, for the right price, I will. Like, I got a house to pay for.
Right.
Before we get to promoting, I do have one question.
Go ahead.
I gotta ask which band were you in, and I want to ask favorites of music. Like, what are some of your
Absolutely.
favorites?
Absolutely. So my band was Axis Unknown. It's AXIS. We're on Spotify. I mean, you'll find it there. It's an album we threw out there, but really I never promoted it, so the followers aren't there. But I'm doing a new album now, and I'm going solo. So the actual music now is the Black Sheep. Everything is branded. I've got my own label. I'm DIY from start to finish. So over the years that I've learned, I put it all together. I have a label called GDA Media Group. I do my own photography, my own videos, my own merch, everything from start to finish. You know, and I've done merch for Kaide, for a bunch of few people. Like I do the designs and stuff like that. But my biggest influence, no joke, is Stained. I'm a huge Aaron Lewis fan, and it's not even the political stuff. It's the fact that what they write about is all their personal experiences. My music is my therapy.
You could actually hear it in his music.
If you ever want to know what kind of person I am, like on the inside, you read my lyrics, because my lyrics are about places I've been, people I've met, things I've been through, my battles with addiction in the past. I'm 17 years clean and sober. It's about suicide prevention. I've lost friends to all of that. I've got my whole family's military, so I've dealt with PTSD through my family. I've lost a lot of stuff. So that's where the music came in. And then, like I said, the music is what led me to the wrestling. And then wrestling led me to doing a lot of reality TV and stuff like that. So I'm Ink Master alumni. I've been on 6 episodes that have 2 tattoos. So I've been very, very lucky, all stemming from music and pro wrestling. So yeah, I can't complain. You know,
Nice.
things
And
have
what
been
are some
good.
of your favorite bands? What are some of your favorite albums?
Well, definitely huge Black Label Society. Because like I was
Definitely.
getting to earlier, when I proposed to my wife, I did it with the blessing of Father Zach and the band. So the whole band was at Irving Plaza in New York City. We did the meet and greet, and then I got down on one knee and proposed to her, and the whole band came over, hugs, and then they were like, "Hey, let's go out for pizza," and then went to sound check.
Nice.
So yeah, Black Label without a doubt. Stained, any Stained album, like that's such heartfelt stuff. I
Those
just
first
related
two
to it.
were really raw too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very good.
My absolute favorite song that I related to the most though was "Believe" by Stained, because that was all about life on the road and all the sacrifices you make to be out there, and that's the story of my existence. So I've lost one marriage over it. I've lost friends over it. I miss the birthdays. I miss everything. Like, I don't have kids because I didn't want to be like a Facebook dad and miss all of that stuff. But I mean, when that time comes, that's when I got to contemplate. Do I stay on the road or do I go home and be the father? So for that reason, I never did, because again, you know, I didn't want to be selfish. But yeah, "Believe" by Stained, absolute favorite song. I relate to that one. Like, first time I heard it, I'm driving to Texas to go play South by Southwest from Myrtle Beach. 26-hour drive, and I'm in my van at 3 o'clock in the morning, almost in tears, singing this song, full volume, windows down, going like, my God, what am I doing?
Those are really the biggest. The moments like that are really what stick with you as a music fan.
Yeah.
When you're like feeling the music without realizing it.
Yep.
It's just
Like zoned in on that road, looking at those white lines, and I'm
Yeah.
singing, and it's like, wow, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, and I still got 6 more hours of driving, and I'm
Yeah.
almost in tears because I'm like, this is my life I'm listening to here. I'm living it.
One of my biggest bands that I'm a huge fan of is Typo Negative. Peter Steele has such beautiful lyrics, and it's a shame that he's not with us. But I mean, I like heavier music like that. Huge Ozzy fan, huge Black Sabbath fan. We were before the show. We were just talking about the Zach Sabbath thing.
Yeah.
I'm also a huge thrash metal fan. Like I mean, everyone loves Metallica, but I'm more like Flotsam and Jetsam type guy. Like, I like that raw thrash metal, like huge with Gwar. When I first saw Gwar in like 2008, 2010, something around there, and like Dave just blew me away with his antics on stage, and it really influenced me. He really made you escape for a minute, and then just the whole blood thing and everything like that. I'm a huge Gwar fan, always will be, die hard. But Typo and Black Sabbath are my huge number ones.
Are you going to be watching their final concert?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I
Absolutely.
cannot wait for that.
I have to watch the replay because I'm playing a music festival that day. But I mean, it's for a good cause, though. It's called Carolina Vet Fest. So I do charity work religiously. Like, that's where a lot of my music goes. So this is for military vets. We're actually doing this whole fundraiser for positive. What is it now? It's positive something. I can't remember off the top of my head. I have to look it up. But they train service dogs for disabled vets. So we donate our time services. We're doing an all day long military music festival for the military that day. So I missed that concert, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm okay with that. But I will absolutely watch that replay. Like, that's my influence right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I guess leading into that, I mean, what do you guys want to promote? You got coming up, or social media, anything? Just
Well, I got a show in Eisenhower Park on Long Island tomorrow.
okay.
There's a couple of different shows that I'm in the midst of talking about. But if you ever want to look me up, you can look me up on Facebook as Robbie Rebel, Man the Top Hat. You'll see me right there. I'll be happy to grab you guys. Keep it.
That I've ever known.
I'm on a show called Keep It in the Ring every Thursday night, and I do something called the Rebel Rant, where I just completely blow up on a lot of things that I have gripes with on wrestling. It's where we ponder and pontificate the problematic perplexities plaguing the wrestling business today. It's called alliteration. And
I pick things up, I put them down.
and if you want to check me out on Instagram, you can look me up at The Real Robbie Rebel.
Awesome.
So one other thing too. So the music we came out to today was actually one of my songs.
Oh.
So like I said,
This is going to be the
shameless.
longest part.
No, short, sweet, and simple.
All right.
So you
As
can
long as you need to promote.
you can go to Google, and like, no joke, I've spent years doing this. Look up DA apostrophe Black Sheep. If I'm not within the first 5, then I'm not doing my job. But you can find me on Google under Dan Acosta also, but it's Acosta because everybody thinks it's Italian. I'm actually Puerto Rican. So it's Dan Acosta or DA_Black Sheep. You'll find me all over the internet.
So we were wrong about the Ivan thing.
Yes. Way up.
Absolutely, yes. Not Russian, Puerto Rican. Puerto Rican Irish mix.
I don't know. He might have been Italian for all you know.
It could be anything. I mean, that depends on mom. I'd have to ask her one day. Be like,
Promote yourself,
how
brother.
much of a wrestling network? She'd smack the crap out of me. So I have a link tree. I make it short and simple. So it's linktr.ee/DA Black Sheep. Done.
Love it.
And that goes
Check
to all the
everything out.
socials, that goes to the merch sites, the website, the EPK, the Spotify, Apple Music. I'm on every digital platform known to mankind. And I have a new album coming out. Should have had my single out Friday, but wait for but I've got a new single out band solo artist. So, and then I've got a show July 5th playing at the Rooster in Gastonia, North Carolina, doing Carolina Vet Fest. And then after that, I'm kind of laying low a little bit because I got to get that single done.
That was a great interview with Robbie Rebel and the Black Sheep. And our next interview coming up is Sean Sass, our friend that was getting us the interviews, has a friend that wrestles at Outkast Wrestling Revolution. And he sat down for an interview with another wrestler. This other wrestler, I'm not going to break kayfabe. Dave does it a few times in this interview, so I will let that play out there. But here is Christopher Wagner and Travis Black.
All day from the Working Fans Podcast. We are here at Outkast Wrestling Revolution. Flowers given, and I got a couple wrestlers from here. Chris and Trevor. Guys, first off, thank you for being on the show. Appreciate it. Absolutely. And I guess I'll start off like I do with everything. Where did it all begin? What got you hooked into this wrestling business?
You wanna go first? For me, it's started with the toys, a couple of John Cena action figures, went from there. And then once I actually started watching the product, with WWE and everything, it just snowballed into a love and profession that I love.
Yeah. And for you?
Monday Night Wars, baby.
Yeah.
that was it for me, man. I think one of the greatest memories was the first time Kane came out. I was like,
oh, yeah. That initial Hell in a Cell match. Yeah. That is a great time in wrestling, actually. In this sidebar, I started watching 96 WCW Nitro again recently. Yes. And I'm like, I forgot this guy was even on here. Like these guys in like the Rock and Roll Express showed up for a match one time. And I'm like, Nitro would just pull out everything back then. What was the light bulb? I want to break into this. And where did you break in? Who trained you?
So for me, I call him Diamond Lou Jacobs, and it's going to stick. I guarantee.
Okay. Yep.
But I worked with Lou at my job at the gym on the sub base. That's how I met him. And then after he left, maybe like a year or so later, he told me, like, I knew he was a professional wrestler. And then he told me he was starting a school, and I was like, I'm in, dude. Like, that's the dream as a kid. So I was like, let's go. And that was just him.
Wow.
Like, so it's all for you, Diamond Lou.
Now, how many years have you been in this?
Not maybe a year and a half.
A year and a half. Okay.
This is my second match.
Okay. And where did you train? Lou? Okay.
I got into it from, I've always wanted to get in the ring. Always wanted to do it. When Bray passed away, that was my light bulb. I was like, if there's any time to do it, it's now.
Right.
So I found Lou through a mutual friend and went from there.
Okay. Yeah. You're early in your careers. What have been some of the more difficult things so far?
For me, I'm just in pain all the time, but 7 years in the Army, my knees and back are shot. So yeah. Bumping as little as possible. Team no bump.
Learn how to sell. Tell a story.
Tell the story. But honestly, it's trying to get into the gimmick and remember to do that during the match when everything's going chaotic. Just slow down.
Yeah.
For me, it's hard to like slow down and just go, work the gimmick a little bit, work the crowd a little bit, because I just want to go. I want to go.
Right.
Choke slam, powerbomb, murder people.
So slow down, I guess.
Down
Yeah.
is the hardest thing, slowing down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a huge thing, because in storytelling, if you're just on the gas the whole time, nobody's going to know what you're doing. Slow
Yeah.
it down, let the crowd digest what you're doing, and you'll get your point across.
And I feel like that really transcends even more than wrestling, because I was watching a comedian one time and he was breaking down, like, if you just tell joke, and you don't pause, you're like, well, I think there was some funny stuff in there. I don't remember everything, you know? And I mean, even as a fan, I'll say watching wrestling, I remember watching a lot of stuff that I loved. And I'm like, man, that was a lot of fun. But I'm like, what happened? I don't remember, you know? Any injuries so far?
Mild concussion.
Mild concussion.
May
Okay.
have broken my nose earlier. I don't know.
Okay. Early right now.
Yeah.
And for you, you're not really cutting a lot of promos at this point, right? I'd imagine with your. Maybe you cut some in the backstage.
So I don't cut promos, but let me tell you about my buddy 5150. He cuts some pretty good promos. You know? Patient 5150 Facebook.
Honestly, the stuff that 5150 is putting out, I would say, is some of the top tier promo work that I've seen from a newcomer. 100% really solid.
One of the more interesting moments in tonight's show is that there was an intensity and almost silence during your match for a minute where people were like, whoa. And it was like, and as I'm like, whoa, everybody's kind of hooked. As the match went on, everybody went. And I was like, wow, you know. But
It's crazy to me that I come out and I lick people and bite people and chloroform people, and they just love it. So.
Yeah, I was watching that
and he gets paid for it. I mean, my buddy does. Not me.
Obviously, you're both new at this. What are some of your immediate goals?
I'm just trying to get in as much as I can before I can't do it anymore.
Okay, because you, yeah.
But I mean, obviously, I want the gold at some point. Women's titles in my family.
We're gonna have to battle for the tag team.
I know who's gonna win
the
that
women's
one.
tag titles. For me, entertain. I feel like there's a lot of guys out there who are in it for themselves. I'm in it to entertain people. That's all I want to do. As long as they go home and they know what they saw and they liked what they saw. That's good in my book. I don't care if I get paid to do this. I would love to just entertain people.
Now, not to get too deep in that, but I'll ask you this too. Is there a therapeutic, like, almost feeling for that, right? Like, you get out there and you're able to, like, just kind of hook that crowd, whether it's hate you or love you?
Oh, yeah. So backstage, like, I think everybody nervous as soon as I walk through the curtain, it's just gone. It's like boom. And even playing a bad guy, which I don't even know if I can say that because all the kids love me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm ripping up kids' signs, biting it and spitting it on them, and they're just freaking loving it. And it's just like entertaining the kids and the fans.
I will say this. I watched you tonight, and I was like, I saw you with one of the kids, and I was like, I'm pretty sure you just kidnapped a person. I'm like, how is this happening right now? But you know, you never know what's going to connect with the fans. Anything coming up you want to promote? Any shows or social media? I mean, maybe not social media for you.
There is Outkast Wrestling Revolution has a lot of shows coming up.
Yep.
On Facebook, Outkast Wrestling Revolution, Instagram, same handle. They just hacked their summer list all the way through the fall.
Yes.
I think we have maybe like 8 or 9 shows or something.
Next week,
Griswold.
20th, we are in Griswold.
Yeah, WrestleTopia. I got that one.
That's gonna
I will be there.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
I'll make sure 5150 shows up for the interview for that one.
I would like that. I like that. I don't know how long that interview will go, but we'll get it.
Obviously, we have Valhalla following Saturday.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good one.
That's going to be a really fun one. Obviously, there's a rain date. If there's a rain date, I won't be there. Sadly, I have family problems coming up. Events.
We all have problems.
But for me, if you want to follow me, Travis Black or the Travis Black, anywhere.
All right.
Christopher Wagner or Patient 5150, either one.
Okay.
I like to share his stuff. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like to
I've seen
share
it
it too. It is pretty good.
Yeah.
Trevor saying that.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you.
Another great interview from the event. The next interview was special to me because I've been a big fan of Miracle Generation for a while, and to be able to get Kylon King for another interview was great since we saw he was on this show. So we're going to go to Kylon King next.
All right, everybody. It's the man they call Dave, Working Fans Podcast, and I'm here at Outkast Wrestling Revolution. Flowers given. I'm here with Kylon King.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm eating.
Yeah, and then we just had a show, so I
Chicken
mean,
and rice. Chicken and rice. I'm trying to
get that protein.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you,
Appreciate
man.
it.
Appreciate you.
Oh, talking to the mic so they can hear me.
How was the match tonight?
Would have been better if I won, but
Yeah.
Shout out to Danny Orion. He's a great competitor. Came all the way out here from Texas, did his thing, and I would love to do it again so I get my win back now.
Yeah. Now, you've been at this for how long now?
It will be 6 years, June 29th. Yeah, 6 years.
6 years.
June
6
29th,
years.
Yep.
What got you into this?
As a kid, since I can remember it, wrestling has always been like everything in my life. It's like literally the first thing I can ever remember. Shawn Michaels, Bloody.
Yeah.
I believe it was Survivor Series 2002 or 3. It was Team Austin versus Team Bishop.
Oh, yeah.
With him and Randy Orton was the last two, and then Shawn Michaels just bloody, bleeding profusely, and then Randy hit him with the RKO for the win. So yeah.
It's that never-ending story, right?
Yeah.
It's just constantly these characters that go away, they come back.
They just come back, and then it's always just been there in my life. Like even when I was like down and like I was like lost, it's always like kind of found me.
Yeah.
So I'm just giving back because it gave to me.
I'm with you. That's kind of how I feel too. Like it's always there for you. Things could be going rough, but we got pro wrestling.
Yeah, what got you into wrestling? Yeah.
Oh man, I'm old. So I will say this is dating myself, but it was Superfly Jimmy Snuka.
Okay.
He was coming off the top rope. It was the first time I ever seen anyone come off the top rope, did the big splash.
Okay.
And then later on, the bad guy, Rowdy Piper, cracked the coconut over his head.
Yep.
And I was like, I want Jimmy Snuka to beat this man's ass, and then that was it. I was hooked ever since then. Then there's the big events like Hogan slamming Andre, and then you forget, and then years later, here's when I'm kind of saying, well, maybe I'm not into wrestling. Here comes Bret Hart having some of the most craziest matches ever with Shawn Michaels.
You're like in my uncle's era, not saying. One of my oldest uncle, he started off in that era with Hogan and Jimmy Snuka and Roddy Piper, and then my other uncle, the one who really got me into wrestling, he started off in the Attitude Era and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it runs in the family, so
doesn't
everybody
stop.
in the family loves it.
It's that never-ending story, man. I love it. Now, 6 years. Any obstacles? Any injuries?
I've been concussed. That's like probably the biggest one. I always have probably had nagging injuries like shoulders, wrists, knees, ankle, but just wrap those stuff up and go on. But with the head, when it comes to concussions, this is one thing I will always say to anybody: just make sure you take care of your head, because you only get one brain and then one mind, so you don't want to mess that up. So I would never say wrestle on a concussion. For all the wrestlers out there, take your time and heal that up, because you only get one brain. So
mental health.
Yeah.
No, you're right. What have been some of your highlights then on the opposite end?
Some of my highlights for wrestling, I don't know. Let's see. I've been able to travel. Honestly, if it wasn't for wrestling, I wouldn't be traveling to the places I've been to. I've been to Canada. I've been to California a whole bunch of times. Midwest. Just wrestling, just being able to travel. That's the highlight, and just being on the road, meeting great people, my friends not even friends. I call them brothers now.
Yeah.
But just interacting with people of different walks of life, and that I probably would have never interacted with if it wasn't for wrestling. So, I guess those are highlights. I mean, I'm sure I have matches and stuff like that, but it's just really the journey per se. You know what I'm saying? Because I can lift off matches matches with Gorilla Young Vets, Leo Rush. I got to wrestle Carmelo Hayes. It was in my first year. So yeah, just those experiences, winning certain belts and stuff like that. And those type of stuff I'm never going to forget, obviously, but I really feel like it's more of the journey.
Now, one thing I'm going to ask you, because you said you've been doing this for 6 years.
Yes.
So 2020, COVID comes.
Yes.
Do you think, like, man, where's this going? Are any doubts?
Obviously, I was like, what was I was really young.
Yeah.
So it's just like, dang, like, as soon as I start wrestling, it's just
Yeah.
like, oh man, like,
We're
so
good.
it's-
Hold up.
but love this place called XWA. That was like running throughout COVID, and obviously it's like, you know, a lot of people stopped wrestling, and then me and a whole bunch of my friends, we would travel there, like, you know, because take that ride out there like 2 hours and just wrestle because we wanted it. We wanted to get better. We wanted to grow.
Yeah.
And then everybody else just stopped, and we just kept on our grind. So
Rhode Island based, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
it was, and then it closed down. I believe.
I want to say it was on Thursdays.
Yeah,
Like,
it was
Thursdays.
every
Yeah.
Thursday, just like, you know, Wrestling Open every Thursday's forever. Nice plug, right? Mondays now too. I don't know if it's forever though, but Thursdays forever.
Well, what is some of the best advice you've gotten in wrestling so far, you think?
The best advice that I have gotten with wrestling is just like, just slow down and just take everything. Don't take things for granted, you know, like, be able to, you know, live in the now. Don't worry so much about what's coming, or don't worry about what you could have done better. Just live in the now and just, you know, absorb it in and just be present. And that's just life advice.
Absolutely.
In general, just be present and enjoy everyday life, and don't take anything for granted, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah. Beyond wrestling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
6 years in, what are some of your goals?
Goals. I want to wrestle in Japan. Like, that's like like that biggest. Like, that's my dream. Like, just going to Japan in general. That's my dream. I love the style. I love everything about the culture. I just want to wrestle in Japan. Yeah, I just want to be like, I want to wrestle all over the world. Honestly, truthfully, obviously, I would love to, you know, get a contract, you know, one day. So just hustling and grinding and keep doing that so I can achieve that goal. And then, you know, I think, you know, my buddy Flash, you know, he got some singles gold. I think I want some singles gold, you know, get some singles gold again. You know, it's been a while for me. So yeah,
All right.
some goals.
Now, why don't we wrap this up with anything you want to promote, events coming up, social media?
You can follow me on social media, Twitter or X, as you call it, Little Kylon, LITTLEKYLON, and then on Instagram and any other platform is King Kai 0610. And yeah, I mean, you can catch me on Wrestling Open this Monday and every Thursday forever, you know. So yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for being on, Kyle. And let's get back to your food, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
And that was a great interview with Kylon King. We got an interview also with Kylon's opponent, Danny Orion. And Danny was one of the first wrestlers when we got there. We told him what we were doing. We said we were looking for interviews. And he was the first one that's like, hell yeah, I want an interview. So we're going to bring you that interview next. Here is Danny Orion.
Hey, from the Working Fans podcast, and we are here with Outkast Wrestling Revolution for Flowers Given, and I got Danny Orion. Welcome to the show, my man.
Thank you.
Great.
You welcome to the show. How was it for you?
This was a great show. This was a great opportunity for us. We got to interview some people back here. And the matches were all fast-paced. Everything was great. And one of the guys I was just talking to out there said you had the match of the night.
Hey, look at that. You can't deny Danny Orion. That's what the people say. That's what the folks say. Allegedly.
Now, how long have you been at wrestling now at this point?
Woo, buddy. Doing shows, wrestling on shows has been about 4.5 years. But if you include training, 5 years. 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, who did you train with?
Yeah, I'm actually based out of the Austin area. It's called the America's Academy of Pro Wrestling. Ray Papadon Campos.
Okay.
Yeah, based out of there. Cool names come out of there. Ricky Starks. You guys know Vert Vixen. She's a killer, stellar. ACH, legendary ACH is out of there. So many names have run through there. So that's where I'm out of.
Good company. Good company. And so what was even before that, what was your fandom? What got you into pro wrestling?
Boy, howdy. I mean, it was Jeff Hardy. I feel like a lot of kids, rock star Jeff Hardy. I kind of fell out of it for a little bit. And then I had a really good friend, Brett Hardigree, shout out. He stuck with it, and he just like kept pushing me to listen to like wrestling theme songs while we were like in high school. And I guess YouTube picked up on that. Those greedy bastards with their data stealing. They started just like recommending me just like weird like indie videos. I didn't know what the indies were. The first thing that I saw that pulled me back into professional wrestling was Kenny Omega and ACH at PWG. They did a Rock and Stone Cold spot, and I was like, who are these guys? Searched up their names in the comments, and from there found indie wrestling, and it got me back into it.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's a good time.
Yeah.
Now, so you've been at this 4 years, 5 count training. One thing we always like to ask too, what is some of the best advice you got so far in wrestling?
Oh man, keep the faith and stay the course. Not everything happens overnight. I've had a lot of things like, man, when I started training, I think I was only 3 months in and I got thrown on the show. That is kind of overnight. But then wanting to get like valuable spots, at least in my head, valuable spots, man, it's taken a while and it took a lot of hard work, but I kept the faith, trusted in my trainers, trusted in myself, and feel like I'm finally making some headway.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Now, I'm doing the math in my head too. Now, 5 years you were training. Was that during the pandemic?
Yeah. I had actually, I had moved from West Texas to Austin. Got some advice to go that area to go get some like quality training. And unfortunately COVID hit right after I moved, but I had already scheduled time to go. I had actually met with AAPW right before COVID hit, and I was still keeping up with them on social media, and I saw that they were still doing like masked and distant shows, and I was like, maybe there's a chance. Okay. And there was a chance. And here I am.
And also keep the faith, right?
Keep the faith, yeah.
Now, what are some of the other companies you work for?
Oh, buddy. Geez Louise. Let's see. In Texas alone, New Texas Pro Wrestling, I'd say they're probably the biggest ones in Texas. Inspire Pro, they're right there, neck and neck with New Texas. Ooh, buddy. TWC, Texas Wrestling Cartel, based out of Corpus Christi. Goodness me. I'm going to piss so many people off back home in Texas. I've worked almost everywhere. VIP Wrestling in Dallas. Gone to the West Coast Pro, done Pride Style out of Las Vegas. Jeez Louise, man.
How many times have you been to the Northeast now then?
This is the first time.
No kidding.
First time ever in my life on this side of the country. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hey, look at that. And I said, so I already heard from a couple people you had to match of the night. So
hey, howdy.
Yeah.
Hey, howdy.
I love it. I love it. I mean, it might just be training during the pandemic, but what were some of the biggest obstacles so far then? Yeah,
well, for sure, training in the pandemic. Learning how to work, how to wrestle under duress when things maybe are not going your way, finding a way to battle through that and keep your head composed and getting done what you need to get done.
Yeah.
So many things can go through your mind whenever, you're getting smacked around, getting thrown around, getting slammed around. Yeah. That was a big obstacle because there's nothing in life like that. Like maybe like contact sports, but like, you're not really getting thrashed every single second of, it's, I don't know. Wrestling is so different than everything else.
Right. I mean, you have to keep your head on your shoulders while you're literally getting thrown around.
And you're here and like people, settings like this, the crowd is like right next to the ring. So you're hearing them say stuff and you're like, how the hell did I get here? How did I end up here?
And I'll say this too, even like, combat sports where they'll talk about people, like you want to block out the audience. You have to keep your head, but engage the audience.
Yes. Well, for me personally, I love hearing a crowd make any type of reaction. That's kind of what gets me going. That's kind of my whole motif. So if I do something where they boo me, I'm hearing something and I'm going to go even harder. If I do something and I hear a good thing, a good cheer, I'm like, it's going to get me going. Okay. So yeah, listening to the crowd can really get you going. If you tune them out, I don't know, you kind of like a cold, soulless monster, like we saw today. That guy drug somebody out in a body bag.
Right.
What the heck was that? Is that even legal?
I don't think so. Nowhere but pro wrestling. In the pro wrestling
need the
world.
Authorities and parental advisory. That's what we need.
Now, you're a good talker. I'm talking right now. Yeah, you seem very comfortable. Have you done anything to prepare you for talking and wrestling, or is that just something that's come natural to you?
Growing up where I grew up, everyone in my family likes to, am I allowed to curse? I've cursed already.
Yeah.
Everyone in my family likes to shit talk.
Yeah.
Being competitive, I was always the smallest, the shortest, the skinniest, the slowest. So like, kind of got to talk some shit to, hype myself up. And then, Xbox Live and PlayStation parties, they kind of gear you up for that. So
That's all you need to know.
That's it for real.
Joe, you got any questions you want to ask before you?
Biggest
aspirations in the business, or have you already hit goals yet?
We'll ask both of us.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Oh, dude, inspiration for sure. When I had just found what indie wrestling was, I was really getting into New Japan Pro Wrestling, and they were holding a G1 event in America, 2019. They came to Dallas, and I was keeping up with New Japan, but I didn't have a subscription, so I didn't really know what was going on and all the the beats. The match that drew me in and told me it spoke to me of dude, I need to get into training and I need to get in the ring. It was Will Ospreay versus Lance Archer.
Oh,
it was. Oh, the match was.
Yes.
Oh, that match is so beautiful. I love that match. And so that's what really inspired me to really get into it. Goals for sure is to be the best in the world, nonstop. I don't care who's in front of me. I don't care who you think is better than me. I will be better than them. My first goal when I was starting out in Texas was to be the best in Texas. I think I'm doing that right now. Hence why I'm here.
Yeah.
And next is taking over the whole world.
All right. Love it. Now, is there anything you got coming up you want to promote and social media?
Yeah. Geez, Louise. I'm going to be very unprofessional, and I'm going to look at my cellular phone.
There you go.
For my schedule. Let's see. Boy, howdy.
Some would argue that's more professional. I think I'm in Florida next week.
Yeah, we're going to get the actual.
Hey, so I did miss out on a company, Prestige Wrestling. I did wrestle for them up in Oregon. They are awesome. Hopefully I will be going back there soon, but I do have a Tennessee. Someone is getting murdered out here. My goodness. I'm going to TWE for a tournament. What is that? July 19th. Then I have West Coast Pro, July 26th. And then I have New Texas, July 27th.
All right.
So
you're bouncing all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
Can't stop, won't stop. Can't deny it even.
We'll say it one more time. Match of the night. Thank you for doing the show.
Thank
Appreciate
you kindly.
your time, man.
Thank you. Air shake.
And that was another great interview. I've said it before. I'll say it again. It was such a great time at Outkast Wrestling Revolution. They are based in the Connecticut area. They have shows coming up. Check out their social media. Check out their shows. They put on a great show. They're a great company, great people from what we dealt with. And they were so good. They let us get an interview with the man in the main event, Richard Holliday. This Flowers Given was a show for him, but he has his own show coming up that's Narcissistic Behavior. Check out Richard Holliday, Narcissistic Behavior on Eventbrite. It's happening Sunday, August 3rd, 1:30 p.m. doors, 2 p.m. bell time. Great set of talent announced for it. And it was announced this week. It might have been announced before, but I guess from what I believe, first and second rows, people that are sitting in those seats will get a signed poster. And we've interviewed Richard Holliday before. We interviewed him early on in the podcast run, and we were lucky to get him then. He was a true professional, but it was great that he offered to sit down with us at this event. So Richard Holliday is the last interview we're going to play. Thank you, everybody, for putting up with the technical difficulties we've had in this episode. This was a first-time thing I was trying to do. Hopefully, I'll be able to edit the problems down to a minimum. But here is Richard Holliday. Then we're going to play some commercials from some authors we like working with. And Dave and I we might return next week. Next week might be a set of interviews from WrestleTopia. We will have to see. We're getting into those summer months. Another holiday is almost upon us. But thank you for watching us. Thank you for, if you enjoy what you saw, hitting that subscribe button. But with no longer ado, here is Richard Holliday.
Well, Dave, Outkast Wrestling Revolution, Flowers Given, and I'm here with the man himself. Flowers should be given to Richard Holliday.
Yeah, the show was named after me, appropriately so.
Absolutely.
Yep.
You listen. Anyone who doesn't know you, they're missing out. I've been watching you for a while. MLW.
Who doesn't know me?
Who
doesn't know me at this point?
Yeah. What's driving you right now? What's the goal here?
I'm white hot right now. That's it. Bottom line.
I'm untouchable right now. Feels that way, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all over the place. I'm all over the world. Everybody wants a piece of Richard Holliday.
Mm.
I like to say I'm Richard in demand, like instead of on demand. We used to watch that, 10 years ago, you go on demand for a movie. I'm Richard in demand. I'm so in demand right now.
Yeah. Even bigger than wrestling, I think, at this point.
Oh, yeah. I'm a brand at this point.
Yeah.
I'm like Dwayne. I'm like The Rock, just on the indies.
Because you're Richard Holliday. I mean, what are some bigger obstacles you've had to overcome to get to where you're at right now?
Not really many obstacles, honestly. I go to bed great and I wake up just a little bit greater.
Yes.
Each and every day, go to bed great, wake up greater, go to bed great, and I wake up greater. It's just like a rinse and repeat cycle for me at this point. So now it's just like I wake up and I just have this amazing day in my life because every day is really pretty flawless at this point. And then I go to bed and I just wake up a little bit greater. So not many obstacles, to be honest with you.
So what kind of goals does a man like you have at this point who's already so great?
There's so many. I mean, listen, we all have goals. We all have aspirations, but, achieving them is one thing for, the regular person, but I'm not a regular person, right? I'm a go-getter. I just do things, right? Like I just am accomplishing things that people aren't even recognizing as accomplishments because they don't even think that big. They don't even think that far ahead. And me, it's just like, boom, just accomplished.
Just another day.
Yeah. Just did that, woke up, accomplished this.
This event was named after you.
The freaking event was named after me.
Yeah.
Right?
What are we doing?
What are we talking about here?
And how long have we been doing this stuff? 10 years? We're going on
10 years.
10 years.
Decade of, I got to come up with my tagline, right? Like the Brothers of Destruction.
Yes.
But a rarefied decade. There it is.
The rarefied decade.
The rarefied decade. See, I just bang on the spot, come up with things.
Now, I'll tell you, you have a big event coming up, narcissistic behavior.
Narcissistic behavior, yeah.
I don't know why that would be named after you, though. You're not a narcissist.
Oh, I'm a massive narcissist.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm running the event. This is a 10-year celebration of me.
Yes.
I'm not looking to celebrate anybody else other than me, right? Like tonight was Flowers Given. I'm sick of this. Like, yeah, thank you for naming the show Flowers Given, but I want my flowers. I've been so good for so long, really for 10 years.
Yeah.
Right? And it's time to celebrate. It's time to celebrate me. So who better to throw a party for thyself than myself? Me. So narcissistic behavior, and it's a stacked card, honestly. Like, yes, it is a celebration of me, but the lineup that I've announced so far, it's like any wrestling fan is going to be ecstatic to come to this event, right? I could have announced nobody.
Yeah.
I could have said, just show up and just trust me. Maybe I should have done that, but I'm a businessman. I want to move tickets. I want to make some sales. So I announced 3 people as of right now.
Yes.
Right? You know who I announced.
I know Hammerstone is going to be on the show.
Hammerstone's going to be there. Me and him have a very rich history.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I think I have one of the best, not just like when I announced her, I didn't say one of the best female wrestlers in the
No, you
world.
didn't.
I'm not selling her short. She's one of the best professional wrestlers in the world. Deanna Perrazzo is making her way to Hamden, Connecticut. And then I have EC3, who is also a massive narcissist, who I have a lot of respect for. Right? So like right off the rip, EC3, Deanna Perrazzo, Hammerstone. And there's more to come. Trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me, there's more to come.
I imagine there would be. Yeah, I'm not Richard Holliday, so I will do this the best I can. Narcissistic behavior.
Don't mess up this plug.
Sunday, August 3rd, 1:30 p.m. door time, 2 p.m. bell time, 105 Sanford Street, Hampton, Connecticut. 6514-1723.
Yeah, zip code, whatever.
Yeah, all right. Eventbrite. Narcissistic
I've been
behavior.
in on Google Maps. Come on.
You guys can figure it out. It's Richard Holliday.
Yeah.
One of the
come on.
best ever. All right. And we're just getting started. He wakes up like this.
I wake up a little bit greater.
A little bit greater.
Yeah. I woke up really great this morning. Just wait.
Best mustache in the
You wouldn't
business.
understand. Can you get over the temerity of the people out there? Do you know that word, temerity? Do you honestly know what that means? Temerity? It's like an upgraded version of audacity.
Yes.
Right? Like everybody says like the audacity. I say temerity. The temerity of these people to say that my mustache is stupid. We're not ending on that note because this is an amazing mustache. Narcissistic behavior, the hottest ticket of the summer, the biggest show in town, August 3rd, 2 p.m. bell time, 1:30 doors. I have a great food truck. Right? They're going to have, great food, some ice cream. Yeah, I think all should be served. It's a kid-friendly show, though. But all ages can come and celebrate me.
What else? What else should they be doing?
Not much else, specifically on that day. There was nothing else to do but celebrate me.
Well, there's nothing else that can be said. Richard Holliday, Narcissistic Behavior. Thank you for doing the show.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Author Ray Lopez presents Lockup, Professional Wrestling in Our World. Lockup dives headfirst into the colorful world of professional wrestling. Explore the iconic characters, careers, matches, history, and families, and delve into the bizarre and fascinating entwining of professional wrestling and film, television, football, politics, gender, and race. Pre-orders are available now on Amazon.com or at MascotBooks.com. This is the perfect gift for the wrestling fan in your life. Pick up a copy today on Amazon.com or at MascotBooks.com.
All you got young wrestling fans out there, listen, Old Black Bart has got a book. It's called Wrestle. Black Bart. It's got some that good stories in there about some that good wrestlers.
Read stories of Dusty Rhodes, the Von Erich, Scott Casey, Sergeant Slaughter, Roddy Piper, Mr. Fuji, Ron Bass, Bruiser Brody, Mike Davis, the Grappler, and many others.
And I guarantee you one thing, that it'll be the best dadgum read you've had in a long, long time.
Get your book today at Russellville.com or on Amazon. Russellville, it's where wrestling lives.
Hey fans, it's the man they call Dave with producer Joe. And you probably know us as the commentary team for New Heights Pro Wrestling. But when we're not doing that, we got a podcast.
That is the Working Fans Podcast, where we talk pro wrestling, comedy, MMA, and so much more.
And tell them about that signature segment.
Oh, you talk about the 531?
You know I am.
That is a homegrown creation that has been our namesake. And if you want to know our namesake, we got Chevy, AJ Strange Brew, as well as the two of us.
And why don't you go to our channel, like, subscribe, show us some love.
Rate, review, all of it.
Read about the Northern Wrestling Federation in the book presented by Russellville.com, The Pro Wrestling Vault, Volume 2. Hear the story of Roger Ruffin, the man who trained Carl Anderson, the Monster Abyss, Jordan Clearwater, Chris Harris, and Jillian Hall.
Plus 45 other short stories, including Jazz, Bobby Eaton, Kamala, Thunder Rosa, Mario Mancini, Scott Casey, PJ Black, Kerry Morton, Sal Renaro, Jeremiah Plunkett, Colby Carino, Bam Bam Malone, and many others.
Get your book today at Russellville.com. Russellville, it's where wrestling lives.